really excited to share with you some insights on the topic, which is very close to my heart, balancing the gunas through diet. Food is more than just a fuel. Food not only nourishes the physical body, but it influences the energy, mind, intellect, emotions and spirit as well. Drastic dietary changes along with sedentary lifestyle, mental stress, pollution, consumption of tobacco and alcohol over the last few decades has led to emergence of non-communicable diseases. And what are these non-communicable diseases? Tension, obesity, heart disease, etc. So we have a huge challenge in front of us. On one hand, we have unhealthy foods all around us. I'm sure all of you know what is unhealthy food. On the other hand, we have a whole lot of nutrition advices. The internet is flooded with various kinds of diets. Let me come to those kind of diets later. But right now, seeing the picture, you can identify that these are unhealthy foods. They are junk foods and contain a lot of carbohydrate, lot of protein, lot of sugars, lot of fats, etc. So they are the so-called unhealthy foods. So we have this in one hand. On the other hand, we have loads of nutrition advices. Let me now tell you about what is fad diet. Fad diets are nothing but diets which are a temporary quick fix solution. So people randomly follow fad diets without the help of any kind of expert nutrition advice or probably seeing through the net. So what I'm going to give you today is interact with you, make you understand the difference between right food habits and wrong food habits. Right now, there are innumerable fad diets. Keto diet has become very famous, much more than the balanced diet, I guess. And there is something called as the intermittent fasting diet, General Motors diet, blood type diet. Now, this is a very interesting blood type diet, which says that based on your blood group, you need to eat food. So such kind of diets have come in vogue because people follow these diets. And you have the alkaline diet. So every diet has got its own theory and principle, but we don't have any kind of evidence-based report in these kind of diets. So people are very much confused. How much of carbohydrates do I take? How much of calories should I take? How much of sugar? How much of fat? So should I follow only a cabbage soup diet or a cauliflower diet? Finally, they end up doing these kind of fad diets for a short period of time and getting back to their same old habits. So let me now give you how to create a balance between all these diets. If you see the picture, I think all of you can understand what this picture itself says. So the ancient yogic diet talks more about fruits, vegetables, milk, sprouts, whole grains, cereals, nuts, etc. Whereas the present day diet is a very well laid diet. I think thali, everybody is fond of thali, everybody is fond of fast foods, and they are called fast foods because they are really eaten fast. So these kind of fast foods definitely cause a lot of disturbance in your digestive system. So what do? We have two things in hand. We have the ancient yogic diet and we have the present day diet. Oh my God, I can't understand which one to follow. So what do? So the only thing is balance. In this fast moving world, we need to create a balance between the food that we eat and the mind. Now let's come to our topic. The topic which is Trigunas, is how do we balance our mind and food. So the ancient yogic science has classified food into three basic categories. The Trigunas of the mind, the Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. These are the three broad categories of gunas of the mind. Now, based on the characteristic of the mind, we have characterized food also. Let's first understand what are the trio characteristics of the mind. I'm just going to brief you about what are the three gunas and what are the characteristics of the food which fall into these gunas. Therefore, you can decide which is a guna which you would like to follow. So the Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna means mode of goodness. It also means purity, calm, gentle, clarity of mind, well-balanced thoughts and creative. The Sattvic is supposed to be one of the best conducive diet for health. Now don't tell me that I'm going to say Sattvic is the best diet and you have to eat Sattvic diet. Let's see what is going to be the end result of this presentation. Next comes the Rajasic. Rajas is mode of action, which means passion, impulsive, materialistic. And the third guna is called tamas. Tamas is mode of ignorance, which simply means inertia, laziness, and insensitive. These three characteristics of the mind rule our body. So how do we balance these three characteristics and still live a healthy life? Now, when we talk about sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic food, how should a sattvic food be? So when you look at the food, you can identify that it is sattvic food. Or when you look at rajasic food, you can definitely identify seeing the color, flavor, texture of the food at the end of this presentation. So I'm just going to tell you today what are the various kinds of foods which fall into all these categories. We do require sattvic to create a solution. We do require rajasic to put it to action. And we do require tamasic to put a stop to the action. So therefore, balancing all three is going to be really, really important for us. Coming to foods, sattvic food simply means wholesome, fresh, juicy, succulent, plant-based foods, vegetables, green leafy vegetables, whole grains, nuts, so-called alkaline foods. So in the present day diet, alkaline has become very, very important because the human body is 65% it requires alkaline foods and 35% it requires acidic foods. The sattvic simply means very fresh, wholesome foods. Now, rajasic food, anything which is in extremes. Extreme temperatures, we can't bear. Do we? We definitely complain about too hot or too cold. Exactly the same way, the foods have extreme in texture, bitter or too pungent, too dry, too spicy, too sour, too hot, or too rich in salt, sugar, etc. or very strongly flavored, seasoned. And all acidic foods come under the category of rajasic food. And the tamasic foods are nothing but foods which are overcooked and foods which are leftover foods, stale foods or refrigerated foods. In the present day diet, these characteristics of food, we can compare it to processed foods or stored foods or foods which has been kept for a long time. Those come under the category of tamasic foods. Now, tamas, the word tamas itself means laziness. So basically, these kind of foods, when you're going to ingest, it is going to cause you to be any which ways, sitting on the couch and not able to move, and things like, putting on weight, etc. The processed junk foods, frozen foods, all come under the category of tamas. Now let's see. I'm just going to give you some interesting examples. Though I'm not going to read out all the points in the slide, you could just see how the foods are categorized. Let us take the example of a simple cooked rice. Now, simple cooked rice comes under the category of sattvic. Whereas polished rice, the moment rice gets polished, for example, when the rice is refined or the rice gets a beautiful shape, biryani rice or basmati rice, it becomes rajasic. Obviously, it looks rajasic, right? The biryani looks rajasic. So, the same rice becomes rajasic. And the rice, if it is going to be left overnight or refrigerated or frozen or kept in the fridge for a long period of time, it becomes tamasic. So it's a very simple statement that the same food can be converted to rajasic or tamasic depending on the way it is treated. Now let's take example of the common foods. I think all of you must be aware of idli dosa is steamed, so it's okay, good for my health, I could consume that. But how good it is for you? They are fermented foods. So these fermented foods come under the rajasic category. Chutneys, pickles, papads, pepper, cloves, anything with strong pungent smell comes under rajasic category. Similarly, when you take milk, plain milk and sugar is sattvic. Curd and sugar, normal fresh curd and sugar is rajasic, whereas sour curd becomes tamasic. The food changes as per the processing. All raw vegetables. Let's take an example of raw carrot and gajar halwa. So what is the difference between the two? It's the same carrot, right? So raw carrot becomes sattvic and gajar halwa becomes rajasic. So the point here is anything which is overcooked or which is cooked in excess oil and spices and sugar, it becomes rajasic. Salt in normal quantities becomes sattvic, whereas salt in little bit more amount becomes rajasic. What is the normal quantity of salt? How much should we take every day? You may be surprised to know that 5 grams per day, which is equal to 1 teaspoon of salt, is enough for all of us. But are we doing that? We are taking salt in various other forms, French fries, wafers, samosas and things which have added salt in it, or even sodium containing foods, bread, cakes, pastries, etc. So therefore, these all come under the category of tamasic foods. Now let's take oil for example. Small amount of oil is allowed for your body. Definitely we do require oil because we have the good fat and the bad fat. So the good fat which is required in small amounts for the body comes under the sattvic category, whereas the fats which is reheated, so the stale food which is over and over heated again. For example, if you see the street foods, they are very tasty. The vada pavs which you get on the roadside street food, or if you get the chips, etc. They are very tasty. The reason why the oil is reheated over and over again, and therefore it's smoked to a very high temperature, leaving it stale. But we are not aware of it when we consume that. So that is why the reason why we need to have all these awareness about food is absolutely important. Let's come to sugar. Honey comes under the category of sattvic food, whereas jaggery comes under the category of rajasic food. And if you're going to take table sugar, the sugar which we use every day on the diet, which comes under the category of tamasic food. So too much of sugar is definitely detrimental to health. Now let's see, there are certain foods in Ayurveda, they are called as white evils. Sugar, maida and salt, these come under the category of white evils. So these foods need to be restricted in moderation. Now let's see what does ancient scripture says. I'm going to give you a combination of both ancient scriptures and balanced diet. So don't think that what's happening here. Is she going to talk completely about the sattvic diet? Are we going to follow a sattvic diet? Is she putting us there? You think over it. Sattvic diet is the most conducive to health. A diet which causes the body to gain health and for the mind to be calm and peaceful constitute the sattvic diet. So it's been told in ancient scriptures that food is verily the first among all that is created. Therefore, it is said to be the medicine for all. So how much should we eat? We need to leave 1/4 of the stomach free. Definitely, sattvic food has got a close connection for the mind. So hearing all this, what do you think? Which type of food would you prefer? Is it sattvic, rajasic or tamasic? I'm sure there will be a lot of people saying that yes, she's talked a lot good about sattvic, so let's write sattvic. Let's come to the end of this session and find out which is the best. Now I'm going to talk about modern nutrition. What does modern nutrition say? It talks about conventional therapy, conventional treatment. Conventional treatment is nothing but a trio of nutritional prescription under expert guidance and behavioral modification, which is definitely mind. Definitely we need to work on the mind because most of the diseases nowadays are psychosomatic disorders. Similarly, the third is exercise. Definitely food and exercise plays hand in hand. So the modern nutrition talks about nothing but balanced diet. I'm sure all of you must have heard the word balanced diet. So the word itself has balance. What balanced diet contains is nothing but, don't see the figures and get, how are we going to calculate whether it's 12 to 15% protein? So it is our job. It's the dietitian's job. So therefore, I'm just giving you the awareness about what is a balanced diet. A balanced diet is simply calories, which is as per the recommended dietary allowance given by the National Institute of Nutrition or WHO, which says as per your age, your gender, your health, physiological diseases, disease conditions, etc. The protein content of the balanced diet is 12 to 15% protein, which is simply 1 gram per kg ideal body weight. So what is your ideal body weight? You may be having a height of 5'3" and your weight is around 90. Is that your ideal body weight? No. We need to calculate your ideal body weight and then say 1 gram per kg ideal body weight. Say for a female of 5'3", for this height, the weight needs to be around, say 55 kg. So 55 grams of protein is what is required. Fat percentage between 20 to 25%. So in fats, we have two kinds of fats. We have the visible fat and the invisible fat. You may be wondering, visible fat, yes, it looks visible, right? So you can add it in oil or butter and ghee, all these are visible fats. What are invisible fats? Quickly write it down. Coconut, almonds, nuts, milk contains invisible fat. Every food for that matter contains invisible fat in different proportion. So we need to balance between the visible and invisible fat. Next is carbohydrates. Carbs, the so-called short form, is the nickname for carbohydrates. So 55 to 60% of your total calories should be carbohydrates, and 75% of this 55% should be dietary fiber, considering the complex carbohydrates which play a very important role in the lifestyle diseases. Next comes sugar. How much of sugar do I have to eat? You can take sugar if you're going to take in moderation. 5% is what is recommended in a balanced diet. Similarly, vitamins and minerals. There was a question, they had asked me like, is vitamins and minerals absolutely required in a balanced diet? If you're taking a balanced diet, definitely you don't require vitamins and mineral supplementation. But if you have a deficiency of any kind of vitamins like vitamin A or iron or calcium, you definitely need to take supplement. Initially start with foods which contain those vitamins, and then if still your vitamin deficiency persists, you could continue to take supplements. But as per the guidance of a medical practitioner. Water. We'll come to water. It's a very, very special topic. I'll give you more details about water. How much of water do we take in a day? Up to 2 to 3 liters. My God, 3 liters is going to be too much. How can I take 12 glasses a day? It's very simple. If you're awake for 12 hours, just take 1 glass of water every hour, which will make up to 12 glasses of water. If you see the food pyramid, it talks about the cereal grains, which is in the lowest part. Then comes the fruits and vegetables, and then your milk and meat alternatives. In milk, we have innumerable varieties of milk. Even now, recently I saw in one of the forwards, even camel milk has come. People have started using camel milk in their diet. Various types of milk is available in the market, but I would prefer to take low-fat milk, like cow's milk, which has got lesser fat, or there is even more better milk, which is skimmed milk. 0.2 to 0.5% fat is present in skim milk, whereas buffalo milk contains more than 7 to 9% fat. So depending on the percentage of fat, please choose your milk. Apart from milk, you have the meat and fish and egg alternatives. Egg is a complete protein. There are a lot of questions about vegetarian, egg being a vegetarian. I'm not getting into it, but I would just like to classify meat into lean meat and red meat. Red meat is definitely difficult to digest, which contains pork, beef, etc. Whereas lean meat is chicken, fish, eggs come under the category of lean meats. They are complete proteins, they are high in proteins. The topmost, but not to be taken more, which is very important, of the pyramid is fats and oil and sugars. Just because it's kept on the top, please do not get confused. Do not take it more. That is the one which is to be least taken, which is salt, oil and sugar. Now let's come to the next point, which is 5 food groups. How can I remember this 5 food group? Eat 5 a day. Is it possible to eat 5 a day? 5 fruits and vegetables? Mothers will be saying, my God, I have to cook 5 vegetables a day. Impossible. That's not. It's quite easy to have 5 vegetables or fruits together. So the 5 food groups are nothing but cereals, pulses, milk and meat products, fruits and vegetables, fats and sugars. How do I eat 5 a day? Say for example, you have a raw salad for lunch and a cooked vegetable. So you already took 2. And for the dinner, you had 1 cooked vegetable. So you took 3. And fruits, you took probably morning 1, evening 1. So that comprises your 5 a day. It's as simple as that. And if you're going to mix your salad with 2-3 vegetables, you're finished. You had your 3 vegetables already. So it's very simple. It's just your perspective, again your mind. So when I say 5 vegetables a day, the first question is it's impossible. But then when we come to the perspective of how to take it, it's quite easy. That is why we dietitians are available for you to understand that how do you eat food in a very easy method. So next I'm going to show you the most simplest method how to choose your plate. This is given by WHO, which is called as Choose My Plate. Look at that plate. How does it look? So half of the plate contains fruits and vegetables. So half of your diet is sattvic. So the balanced diet or the modern day nutrition also talks about the same. Grains, which is little more, 1/4 of the quantity. Proteins are little lesser than grains and a dairy product. Therefore, your 5 food group is already in your plate. Every day when you have your lunch, ask yourself, am I having my 5 food group? Where is the portion of grains? Where is the portion of protein? Where is my portion of dairy? It doesn't mean that you have to have curd. It doesn't mean you have to have cheese, butter. You can have simple buttermilk. It's very good for digestion. So these kind of variety can be introduced in the diet in the most simplest way. Now let's go to the next. Healthy body weight. Everybody gets confused. How do I maintain my weight? It's such a very difficult task for me to maintain my weight. Okay, now there is a person who has eaten extra samosas or he has eaten extra burger. What should he do? Now, burgers and samosas, they come into which category? I'm sure you all must be aware of which category it is. It is in Rajasic category, right? Also tamasic because it is fried and burgers are stored and kept, frozen foods. So therefore, if you could see, the center of the fulcrum is weight maintenance. We just need to worry about maintaining the weight. If you're going to follow a balanced diet, weight loss is a byproduct. Do not focus on losing weight. Focus on eating healthy. Weight loss is going to happen. Any which way you're going to lose weight. So, when you've gained weight by taking more and more of these products, what are you supposed to do? Extra energy expenditure. Increase your energy expenditure by doing some workout. Simplest is a 30-minute walk. There are innumerable benefits of walking. Let's come to special occasions. What happens in special occasions? Obviously, all of us want to have a special occasion. I also want to have a special occasion. I also want to have something which is like tasty. That particular day, I like to be pampered. Somebody gives me a cake on my birthday. I'm not going to say no. Definitely, I am going to eat. What would I do in that case? I would definitely adjust my calories, the present day calories, the morning calories or the evening calories, and I would be consciously aware that I've eaten more and I would compensate. So the simplest method is compensation. So if you have eaten more, compensate. If you have eaten less, compensate. If you've eaten too much of heavy foods, the simplest method is fasting. Okay, it's a very funny thing now. Fasting, people think that, okay, I'm on a Monday fast, I'm on a Thursday fast. But what do they do on this fast? Fast is the main day in which they take a lot of carbohydrates. People take varai ka chawal, people take sabudana khichdi, take a lot of potatoes, etc., which are high in carbohydrates. My God, you're supposed to do a fast. It's a detoxification. It's giving rest to your digestive system. Why are you overloading it more? What are you supposed to do on a fast? You are very light, which are very energetic, which is going to give you more energy. So consume more of fruits and vegetables during the fast. Consume more of rice cooked water, dal cooked water, roasted foods. Avoid all those foods which are Rajasic and Tamasic during fast. I think we all need to give ourselves at least once in 15 days a detox diet where we just tell our body, come on, I'm going to eat light today. I'm going to give you rest. I'm going to make you feel more better. You have eaten a lot of, complicated foods over the past few days. Yes, once in 15 days, you're coming back to track and I'm going to put you in track. I think with fruits and vegetables, I did not have to explain what you need to take. Any kind of fruits and vegetables is very good for fasting. Next comes alkaline and acid foods. As I told you earlier, the body needs to be 65% alkaline and 35% acidic. Alkalis are soluble salts, whereas acids are corrosive agents. Please do not think about the reagents or acid in the chemistry lab. Your body's acids are much more milder. But still, some acidic foods can cause a lot of disruption in your GI tract. So, alkali foods are sattvic foods. Definitely, this creates a balance in your body. It helps us to think, act and decide well. It creates health and longevity. A balanced food plan, the way I showed you earlier, it also creates a very good pH balance of the blood. So we need to simply have the right pH. There is a blood group diet which says A positive, B positive. It doesn't mean that is the same diet what I am talking about. Alkaline foods are simple foods which are like sattvic foods, which contain a lot of fruits, vegetables, succulent, and whose pH is above between 7 to 10. Whereas acidic foods are the ones which are bakery items, bread, pav, maida, alcohol, colas, carbonated beverages, and they have to be taken in moderation. I'm sure there is not a single person in Maharashtra who has not tasted vada pav. Does that mean that you have to stop taking it? You have to create a balance between the vada pav and your fruits. This is what is my most important message of the day. Now let's go to antioxidants. What are antioxidants? In the present day scenario, we all are running towards immunity-rich diet. I want to have immune-boosting diet. Yes, what do I do? How can I improve my immunity? Everybody wants to improve immunity. You can improve your immunity by just taking your balanced diet. Be sure that you take some amount of foods which will improve your antioxidants. I have given the list of foods over here, which is garlic, onion, which contain quercetin, which is a very good antioxidant, rich Brussels sprouts, which contain very good vitamin C, and oats, which is containing a lot of tocotrienols, polyphenols, green tea, which is an antioxidant-rich food, tomatoes, which are lycopene containing, cancer prevention, fruits and vegetables, which contain very high amount of carotenoids. So these are the foods which I want you to just play with. Just look at the fruits, look at the vegetables. Okay, I've bought these foods this week. Now let me buy this next set of fruits. Not necessary you need to buy the same mango and get the mango at the end of the season as amras. You please choose seasonal foods. They're close to nature. So choose these seasonal fruits and seasonal foods so that your immunity increases. Next comes your present scenario. How is the imbalance working on your body? What is this mental and physical imbalance which is creating a havoc on your physical body? Therefore, here your mind is playing a very big role. That is where we need to consider why Sattvic Ahar and why a balance between all these three are important. In the present day scenario, people are working from home, sitting for long hours in the computer. People don't have time to have food. I don't know how many of you are sitting in front of me and having a plate of food in your hand. Probably it's your dinner time now, and I've come in front of you and making you listen to me. So I don't know how many of you are literally following these food habits. But is it really worth it? We follow unconscious eating habits. Anxiety and uncertainty is on the increase in the present day scenario. People are more prone to diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and there is a beautiful term which has come up, which is called diabesity, which is a combination of diabetes and obesity. Most of the obese people are diabetic, or most of the diabetic people are obese. So this has led to a lot of immunity issues. Also, late hours of sleep and improper meal timings. Please do follow right meal timings. You need to have small, frequent meals. Each of us have, a biological clock, a circadian rhythm. If you're going to disrupt the circadian rhythm, you're going to end up in a lot of digestive issues. Exercise, but it is more of exertion compared to exercise. People are working at home constantly. The wives, the mothers, the women of the house are continuously exercising. But is it exercising? No, it is exertion, because you're not doing it with happiness or peace. So again, mind plays a havoc there. I think each of you must have done this at least once in your lifetime. Quick eating a lot of chocolates or burgers, or stuffing everything in your mouth, rushing, carrying a piece of chapati roll, putting it into your car and sitting in the car and having food. Finally, what happens? You are not giving time for yourself. That is the most important thing that you're supposed to do. Give little bit time, at least 20 minutes for yourself, for chewing, for eating slowly, and therefore you are not going to get any kind of digestive issues. Otherwise, you are definitely going to get some kind of digestive issue or the other, or eating food and immediately going to sleep. Basically, we are forming this habit by doing these kind of repetitive habits every day. Unconscious habits we are forming. So therefore, we need to reconsider or revisit. The main aim today is to revisit all your habits, all your food habits that you've been following all these days. Now, what happens when you're doing all these faulty eating habits? Where does all this fat go? Yes, it goes and deposits itself in the abdominal viscera, which is called as the visceral fat. Visceral fat is the real enemy. There is something called as the subcutaneous fat, which is just below the skin. But the visceral fat, it is much deeper. It's much inside. It's the one which is protecting your vital organs. So therefore, your liver, your kidney, your gallbladder, your colon, your small intestine, everything is going to be affected by this visceral fat. Therefore, leading to lots of lifestyle diseases. So please do consider when you take trans fats are definitely directly converted to visceral fat. I would definitely request all of you to look at the food label. If you look at a food label, how many of you look at the nutritional label in a biscuit packet or in a Maggi or in any kind of food that you buy from packaged food? I think all of us look at the price, right? But please start looking at the label. When you look at the label, you'll know trans fat percentage, cholesterol percentage. So there are a lot of information available in the nutritional label. Look at it and then buy the food. So if it contains trans fat, please do not buy those foods which contain trans fat, because it directly affects your visceral fat. Now, portion distortion. 20 years ago, people who were taking coffee, they were taking only 45 calories and it was just 8 ounces of coffee. Because you know what the coffee contained? It had just milk and sugar and coffee powder. But today, coffee shop is everywhere. I think all of you also must be having a lot of coffees in between. Maybe, may not be. Or maybe some people may be sitting in front of the computer with a coffee mug saying that, oh my God, I have to listen to this lecture for an hour. Let me take a mug of coffee and let me make myself feel, fresh. So the coffee of today contains at least 350 calories. You know why? It has mocha syrup, it has whole milk, it has steamed whole milk, or it has got ultra high treated milk, which has more high amount of fats. So what are we doing to the simple coffee? The normal coffee, which was 45 calories, has become 350 calories, and we are taking 4-5 cups a day. Imagine your day's calories finished with your coffee. So that is where we have to revisit, rethink. How many cups am I doing? How many cups am I taking? How many cups of tea am I taking? So where does this coffee fit into? It fits into Rajasic foods. Coffee and tea comes under the category of Rajasic diet because they have a lot of pungent smell and they do contain extremes in moods. Coffee is a mood elevator, so it will increase your mood. And if you're going to have tea or coffee at night, definitely you're not going to get sleep because it's going to be antagonistic to sleep. Now let's see the next global projection of diabetes mellitus. India has become the diabetic capital. Will you believe it? It was declared that India is the diabetic capital because many cases of diabetes is seen in India. This slide shows a global projection of diabetes, which says that in 2010, 285 million were detected diabetic. Whereas in 2030, the consensus is that in future, 438 million may be affected with diabetes, which means there will be an increase of 54%. How many in this group are going to become diabetics because of our food habits? So please be watchful about what you eat. All that I could say in this talk is eat right, think right, conscious eating and conscious indulgence. This is the key word which I always give in my lectures, that when you're eating, eat mindfully and indulge mindfully, leading to all these kind of lifestyle diseases. When we are doing unconscious eating, definitely a lot of lifestyle diseases are going to be in our future. So what is the main reason? Central obesity. Central obesity is a major risk. So it's like a vicious cycle. Type 2 diabetes leading to CVD, cardiovascular disease leading back to type 2 diabetes, or having comorbidities or any kind of complications with high blood pressure, high triglycerides, intra-abdominal adiposity, or elevated blood glucose, insulin resistance. Your inflammatory markers just go haywire with central obesity. So definitely, please watch out on what you eat. Now, I'm going to give you a secret, which is a weight loss secret, which says, what is your cause of overweight? The simple cause of overweight is just that you're not balancing your diet. Your fuel intake and your fuel burn, there needs to be a balance. So how can I lose weight? So I'm just giving you a free weight loss secret for the audience today, which is very, very simple. If you have to lose 1 kilo a week, what should I do? Just understand this calculation. 1 pound of fat, which is 0.45 kilograms of fat, is equal to 3,500 kilocalories. Now, if I'm going to take 500 to 1,000 calories less every day, I am going to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. So the simple solution, if I'm just going to cut 500 calories, which may be just 2 samosas, or if you understand the calorie concept, it's a very different topic. It's a huge topic and it's very difficult to cover in this short period of time. I'm sure all of you must be knowing which are high calorie and low calorie foods. If you cut down just by 500 calories, you can lose 1 kilo a week, provided you do exercise. You need to exercise and you need to have the right food intake. Now tell me, which type of food would you prefer? I have given everything in your plate. I have given you sattvic, I have given you tamasic, I have given you rajasic. I have also given you thalis, I have also given you burgers, everything. Now, which is the type of food would you like to take? Is it sattvic, rajasic or tamasic? Or would you prefer this? Would you still prefer to have this? Ask yourself. So it's a very huge kind of a burger. It's a multi-deck burger, I guess. It's got freshly baked bun. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to describe this food, so-called, Ratsik food, but still I would want you to hear that what all it contains. It contains more of cheese, more of bacon, more of, a red onion, and again burger, again bread, again burger. So these kind of supersized food, please do not order any kind of supersized food. Okay, so would you prefer this, or would you go for a healthy alternative? What is the healthy alternative? I have explained you the food pyramid. I have given you fruits, vegetables, the right oils, etc. So what do we have to choose? If you're going to think that, oh my God, Ambika is just going to make us eat fruits and vegetables throughout our life, I'm sorry, that's not my purpose. It's simple balance. Balance is the key. Please balance what you take. Once you balance what is needed in your system, it will automatically come to you. And if you're going to focus more on healthy food, you are going to attract such kind of healthy food through your mind. Now, balance between ancient yogic diet and balanced diet. Go for a fast once in 15 days. Choose healthy balanced diet. Also indulge consciously, but if you indulge, definitely compensate. As we go further, do not forget my simple plate. Whenever you look at your plate now, you will remember this presentation. You will understand what is there in that plate. Yes, half of my plate should be fruits and vegetables. If there are children watching, if there are youngsters watching this presentation, I would recommend you to take a lot of fruits and vegetables, because these are the stress busters. These are the need of the hour. So do take a lot of grains, a lot of fruits, lots of vegetables in your diet. Last but not the least, I would like to talk about the most important aspect of the diet, which is water. 60 to 65% of your human body is water. How much should I drink water? I think all of you remember your 12 hours. So 12 glasses of water and 12 hours. Remember that. What does water do? Why is it so important to our body? Why? Because water helps to eliminate toxins. It represents 92% of your blood, 75% of your muscles, 22% of bones, and 75% of the brain. So why not we take such a good ingredient called water, which is easily available, and the most thing is water for the body. So do take a lot of water from today. Let me give you how we can use this phenomenon called water with the mind. This is a very interesting study which was done by Dr. Masaru Emoto, a Japanese scientist. He revolutionized the ideas that our thoughts and intention impact the physical realm, one of the most important water researchers world had. For over 20 years, until he passed in 2014, he studied the scientific evidence of how the molecular structure in water transforms when it exposed to human words, thoughts, sounds, and intentions. So he exposed water molecules which were frozen and later studied through magnetic resonance analysis technology and high-speed photography. He demonstrated how water molecules exposed to loving words, it resulted in such pleasing molecular formulation. Water molecule before prayer and after prayer. See the difference. Water molecule with words, love, appreciation, thank you. It's got amazing molecular formation. Whereas water with fearful and negative human intentions, like you make me sick or I will kill you, if these kind of words are written on water molecule and they have shown a disfigured molecular formation. Please listen to this very carefully. If water is affected by words, your intentions, your thoughts, and your energies, what about human beings? Human beings, we are made of mostly water. 65% of us is water. So I think we have to have mindfulness about our thoughts and emotions. That is the reason why we need to balance our gunas through diet. To sum it all, I would just like to give you the gist of what I have spoken. Consume wholesome, fresh, plant-based foods. Foods which will make you calm, energetic and lighter. Avoid foods which are extreme in nature, therefore making you more aggressive and extreme in your mind. Please avoid stored, processed or frozen foods, because these are definitely going to make you lazy and lethargic. The next most important concept, which is contentment, the very essential element. Everything is in abundance. The universe is in abundance. We just have to pick and choose what's stored for us. Everything is available to us. It is us who are not reaching up to that food, of the healthy food. So contentment and moderation, this is more relevant in the present day society, as whole of the society seems to be overeating. People are unaware of what is in their plates. So you are indulging, your senses are busy in indulging in activity on the digital screen or talking over the phone or reading or multitasking. Therefore, what's happening? Your sympathetic nervous system is stimulated over and over again, releasing more and more of stress hormones. Therefore, please be mindful of two things. Mindful of what you eat, the right food choices, and mindful in your practice of eating. I would definitely like to also add on to this fact that be mindful about how much you eat. Please leave 25%, that is 1/4 of your stomach for digestion, 25% of my most favorite food called water, and 50% leave it for the food which you are consuming. So if you're going to create this kind of a balance, I am sure, beyond doubt, there is going to be a remarkable improvement in your health. Definitely you are going to be away from diseases. You are going to be delayed in getting the so-called diabetes, which is like nearing very, very close to us. Beyond doubt, food influences our thinking pattern, attitudes, and personalities. So I would recommend combining the Rishi Muni diet, which people who have lived for 100 years followed Sattvic diet. They lived on vegetables, roots, and fruits. But now, is it possible to follow a Sattvic yogic diet every day? It's impossible. So let us compare that with the present day low calorie diet, restricting little lower calories, high amount of complex carbohydrates, fruits, vegetables. Remember your plate. Remember the foods which cause least oxidative stress to the body. From today onwards, I'm sure all of you are going to practice the art of balancing your gunas through your diet. Look at the picture, such a beautiful picture. It has got lovely balance in it. Tattva, Tamas and Rajas. They've got different colors too. So therefore, practice the art of balancing your gunas through your diet. The take-home message for today is nothing but simple balance, where you choose more of sattvic food. Now this pyramid is the opposite of what I had given earlier. Choose more of sattvic foods, moderation of rajasic food, and less of tamasic foods. You know which are the sattvic diet, which is the rajasic food, and which is the tamasic food. To choose the right food in the right proportion. So I would like to end my talk by a simple final takeaway. Combining modern medical nutrition therapy with ancient yogic sciences brings a balance of the trigunas, thus creating holistic health. Thank you. Thank you all for your patient listening. It was a conversation which I just felt that a topic which was very close to my heart was the mind and food. And I always wanted to speak about this. I'm very thankful to Hingori Sutras for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my knowledge. And I'm very, very thankful to this wonderful audience. I'm sure you are going to remember what I said and keep balance in your ancient sciences and balance in your present day living. Thank you all. Thank you so much.